Hello and good evening students and welcome back to Global Online Platform. This is Chandni Swarnikar and from today onwards we are going to cover modern age writers. Okay, so for now E.M. Forster will be our main focus. Okay, so you can get my lecture at 8 p.m. on a daily basis, but before diving into the video, let me share that there is a great opportunity to prepare smartly for the April 2024 Maharashtra SET. Global Online is offering a comprehensive English literature course. You'll have access to video lectures that explain concepts using short and effective methods. The course also provides downloadable PDF notes for your convenience. Additionally, you will get mock tests that simulate real exam conditions, boosting your final preparation. To learn more, reach out to the provided contact number. Okay. Now, if you want to watch the free videos, download the Global Online app. Once you are in, head to the source section. There you will find details of all the courses. Use the search bar to directly type in the course name and you will see an overview along with fees for duration. Click on the content section and you'll find unit-wise folders. In each unit, you will get theory lectures, evaluation, notes and mock tests and MCQs of course. No need for extra reading. Now, if you decide to join the paid course, you'll also be added to a WhatsApp group. In that group, you'll receive PDFs for each session along with the videos link. It's a great way to stay connected and get additional resources. So happy learning. Now, today's focus is E.M. Forster. Okay, I hope you must have heard about him, right? Passage to India and Morris is a very famous work. It's an unfinished work, of course, the 7th novel of E.M. Forster, and a lot more you are going to learn today. Okay, so let's start with E.M. Forster. Basic detail of E.M. Forster. Okay, so E.M. Forster. Now, 1879, he was born in 1879 and died in 1970. When he was born in 1879 and 1970 was the death of year of E.M. Forster. So, do remember, because he is a very prominent writer, so you have to remember the duration, life duration of E.M. Forster. Okay, he is an English author and basically his name is Edward Morgan Forster, the full name Edward Morgan Forster, but it was actually supposed to be Henry Morgan Forster, but accidentally it was baptized, like it was registered as Henry Morgan Forster, but accidentally baptized as Edward Morgan Forster. Just imagine, you're supposed to have a name Roshan and accidentally you get a different name. Just imagine I was having like I was supposed to have Chanda, I got Chandni. So that is how it happened. Now, he actually contributed in different genres, a lot of genres. Okay, he wrote short stories that we are going to do today. Essays he wrote and speeches, broadcast, biographies were also there, and some pageant plays were also there. Okay, so we are going to focus mainly on novels because he wrote 7 novels. Okay, 6 of them are finished and at the end he wrote Morris, and it was actually unfinished work and posthumously published. I'm going to tell that. Okay, and one more important thing about E.M. Forster is he actually co-authored the opera Billy Bird. So do remember, there is a question in net, and even in Maharashtra SET you will get, there are chances that you will get such questions. Okay, so he co-authored the opera Billy Bird that was published in 1951. Okay, now he was also nominated for the Nobel Prize in Literature in 22 separate years. Okay, now it's also a very important thing to remember because he didn't get, okay, but he was nominated for Nobel Prize, for the Nobel Prize in Literature. Now he is basically considered one of the most successful of the Edwardian era English novelist. Of course, he is successful because we still read his A Passage to India, right, in graduation, in masters. Many of you must have that in syllabus. Okay, now let's start with the work. The first work is A Room with a View. A Room with a View. It was published in 1908. Okay, and basically it talks about Lucy Honeychurch. Okay, so have you ever seen Eat, Pray, Love? There's a movie, okay, of 2010, and it's a very famous movie. If you love traveling, it will intimate, like you can share an intimacy. Intimacy is not only about sexuality. Okay, you can feel that. So here you can see that there is a character, Lucy Honeychurch, a young woman, and she is on a journey of self-discovery during her travels in Italy and England. Okay, she is traveling basically in Italy and England, and she is discovering herself. Self-discovery is going on. Okay, it is like a transformative experience that challenges her traditional upbringing. Just imagine you have grown up in a very small or narrow kind of like village. The mentality of the people have like, you have felt that it's very narrow, okay, and you started traveling and you feel, okay, oh my god, this is also true about the world, and you are going to have a very different perspective. Okay, so it will be a transformative experience for you. So that is exactly happening to Lucy Honeychurch. She is a young woman who's traveling and experiencing and also discovering herself. Okay, so along with that, you are going to see a different thing as well. For example, explores a novel that explores themes of societal conventions, of course, that society actually uplifts us with. Then self-discovery you'll see, and the clash between the repressive Edwardian society and the liberating beauty of Italy. Okay, like two different things contrasting each other. Okay, so you're going to see that. Right, moving on. Now, what happens next? While traveling, she actually encounters two characters. Okay, so the first one is unconventional Mr. Immersion and his son George. Okay, the second character is George, and the first character is Mr. Immersion. They actually encourages her to go with the flow, to break free, okay, from societal expectation, to live a life freely without society's pressure. But she started doing that, but again when upon returning her to England, Lucy actually faces the pressure to conform to societal norms, because it was a different land, of course it was a different place, and where she was living had a very different and contrasting place, right? So she started doing it, conforming to societal norms, and there was a clashes and a struggle between her true desires and societal expectations. That is a very good plot line, and actually if you are very much into transformation meeting basically journey, so you can read this particular work. Okay, now the second work is Howard's End. Now first published in 1910, and basically story revolves around three families in England at the beginning of the 20th century. The setting is England, of course, but at the beginning of the 20th century it talks about three families. That is it. Moving on. Then the third work, a very famous work, A Passage to India. Don't forget to remember the publishing year here, because chronological questions are here. Then a lot of questions can be asked with this, because they can ask you how many places are there, what cave symbolizes, what is the publishing year of A Passage to India. Okay, they can ask you a lot of questions because it's a famous work. Now set against the backdrop of the British Raj. Okay, the setting is the British Raj, okay, and the Indian independence movement in the 1920s. Okay, now it's basically based on Forster's experiences in India, because he came to India once, and whatever he experienced here, he actually inculcated all of that in his novel. Okay, now deriving the whole title, it was not Forster's idea, it was actually Walt Whitman's poem. Okay, there is a poem of 1870 of Walt Whitman's. There was a line in Leaves of Grass where he found Passage to India. So from there he actually took the title. Okay, so do remember this fact, because you need to know. Now let's focus on the characters. Okay, so how many characters are there? Who are they? So the first is Dr. Aziz. The whole story revolves around him. Then Cyril Fielding. Then Adela Quested. Mrs. Moore, she is also very important character, and Mrs. Moore is also very important character. I'm not saying that other characters are not important, but the majority of the plot or the scenes are actually associated with these writers. Okay, Mr. Totten is there, Mrs. Totten, Nawab Bahadur, Hamidullah, Amrit Rao, Mahmood Ali, basically it's Mahmood Ali, and Ralph Moore. Okay, now these are the characters you need to understand. Basically, memorize it. Now, basically, the narrative, the whole narrative actually explores the clashes and misunderstanding between British colonizers and Indian population. And actually, Passage to India wanted to give a solution, but there is no solution. Okay, at the end, whether they can be together or not, we still confuse. Okay, so there is a cultural clashes and misunderstanding between the British colonizers and the Indian population. The whole story revolves around that. Okay, now the central event in the alleged assault of Adela Quested, because he actually targeted Aziz, Dr. Aziz. Okay, and the whole story was saying that he is innocent, but Adela Quested was saying that he actually assaulted her. Okay, and a young British woman during a visit to the Malabar caves, and caves is very important here. So that is why I told you that you need to understand the symbolism of cave. Okay, basically what does that mean? Now the characters such as Dr. Aziz and Mr. Fielding embody the cultural divide, and Forster skillfully delves into the psychological and emotional dimensions of their interaction. At the end, they actually talked about a lot of things. Dr. Aziz is from India, and Mr. Fielding was from western side. So they wanted to be friends, but at the end of the story, when you'll read, you'll get to know. Okay, and I must tell you, there's a famous line as well. Do find it. Okay. Wait. Now the fourth work is Where Angels Fear to Trade. Where Angels Fear to Trade. Now it was published in 1905, and the title was taken from Alexander Pope's essay, an essay on criticism. Basically, it's a literary criticism work. For fools rush in where angel fears to trade. Okay, what is the line? For fools rush in where angels fear to trade. From here, Forster took the title. Now, basically, this whole story revolves around a young widow, Lilia Harrington, basically who marries an Italian man, and causing disapproval from her conservative English family. Of course, everything revolves around this. Like if you're marrying on your own, if you're, never mind. Now the narrative, unfortunately, where cultural differences intensify, leading to tragic consequences. And you must admit and you must accept that there are cultural differences, okay, and it actually creates problems. And when you read Where Angels Fear to Trade, you will get to know a lot about it. Now the fifth work is The Longest Journey, which was published in 1907. Okay, what it says, see, there's a poem, okay, basically there's a phrase basically, and the phrase is The Longest Journey. Appears where? Appears in Percy P.B. Shelley's Epipsychidion. I think I cannot pronounce it, so just know it, okay. Now the lines are from where Forster took the title. Who travel to their home among the dead by the broad highway of the world, and so with one chained friend, perhaps a jealous few, the dearest and longest journey go. Okay, so here, longest journey go. Here, who travel to their home among the dead by the broad highway of the world, and so with one chained friend, perhaps a jealous foe, the dearest and longest journey go. Now, it is a Bildungs roman. Okay, first published in 1907. Basically, it follows like after this, Where Angels Fear to Trade published, and then A Room with a View, and then of course Harvard Sent. Okay, so Where Angels Fear to Trade first, then proceeding with A Room with a View and Harvard Sent. Okay, that is it. You need to remember this. Moving on to Morris, about which we have already talked about. Okay, Morris. It was published posthumously in 1971, and it's a tale of homosexual love. Okay, and where he was writing, it was actually difficult to write about it. Still in India, it's a very difficult thing to upfrontly say, upfrontly accept this, right? About homosexual affair, about homosexual love and things like that. So he actually did a great job. It's a tale of homosexual love in early 20th century England, and it's an incomplete work. Do remember, there are 7 novels that E.M. Forster wrote. 6 of them are are actually completed, but the only work is not completed, Morris. Then there are short story collections. 7th is The Celestial Omnibus and Other Stories. It's a collection of short stories. It includes 6 short stories. There is one title that is that important for you to know: The Other Side of the Hedge. The Other Side of the Hedge. Okay, then the 8th work is The Eternal Moment and Other Stories. The Eternal Moment and Other Stories. It's also a collection of short stories preceding with this, basically, The Celestial Omnibus. Now the 9th work, it's a literary criticism work, and it was published in 1927. But the interesting thing is, when E.M. Forster didn't write any literary criticism work. Okay, the only literary criticism he wrote is aspect of the novel. And about this, Maugham said, basically commented, I learned that the only way to write novels was like Mr. E.M. Forster. Just imagine somebody is complimenting you like that. I learned that the only way to teach students was like Mr. Chandni, sorry, not Mr. Chandni, Miss Chandni Swarnakar. Just imagine the compliment, right? I can feel it. Now, basically, according to Forster, there are 7 aspects of the novel. Okay, how many? 7 aspects of the novel. And the first one is story, character, plot, fantasy, prophecy, pattern and rhythm. Right? Story, again, character, plot, fantasy, prophecy, pattern and rhythm. These are the 7 aspects of the novel according to E.M. Forster. Not like I'm not talking about anybody else. Do remember this. 7 of them are there. Okay, so with this we have completed today's lecture. We'll meet in the next lecture. Thank you so much. And I think I have added another slide without writing anything. Okay, so we'll meet in the next lecture. Thank you very much and all the very best.